Thanks for joining us and welcome to the Spotlight. I'm David Rose. For many families of murder victims, the shock of the crime is then compounded when dealing with a criminal justice system that can be confusing and frustrating. It helps a lot when they have someone to walk them through the stressful process. In King County, Tiffany Attrill relishes her role as the victim's advocate in the prosecuting attorney's office, where she manages to keep track of hundreds of assault cases and homicides. As grieving families have their wounds ripped open again, she's there to support them, just as she was when the Spotlight's cameras recently spent 2 days with her. It was an emotional roller coaster for a victim's mom, after an appeals court had ordered a retrial for the two men convicted of murdering her son. Our cameras were there in the courtroom for the tense days during closing arguments and the verdict.
Okay, they're doing closing.
Right now?
Yep. I work with victims of assault and surviving family members of homicide victims. Everyone's going to be on their best behavior.
That's right, except for me, baby. I might cry.
That's fine.
That's all I'm talking about.
That's fine. Advocates are just there for families. We help navigate this complex process for these families in a time of grief, trauma, loss, shock.
You got this today.
Yeah, she does.
It's all about that word, you know. Yeah. Yes, Lord.
It's the last day.
I woke up this morning with my mind made on Jesus. He's the jury, he's the judge.
There's no right or wrong way that families feel. It's all over the place. Part of an advocate's job is, we call it holding space, where you just meet them where they're at and don't put any judgment or don't tell them that they should feel or shouldn't feel. You just hold space and you're just present with them, whatever is going on with their processing of it.
Precious Lord.
When I initially talk with families, there's a couple things that I always want the takeaway to be. One is how long these cases take. People have no idea that it can take years from arraignment date to sentencing. And then now with COVID and the backlog of cases and trials, I just don't know how long it takes anymore. It just takes a long time. The COVID, the working from home, for me, a lot of people love working from home. I hated it. I hated it. My home is my sacred space, and to bring my work into my home was awful. I felt like I was just working all the time, and then I'm on the phone with a mom whose son was killed, and then my kids are like screaming in the background. I bought the wrong peanut butter, and where's the jelly? And they're like fighting, and I did not like working from home. My home is not where death, murder, and mayhem belong. I'm glad to be back. And also during COVID, it was every courtroom, every judge was different. And so some judges allowed Zoom, some only allowed Zoom, some did not allow Zoom, some allowed call in. And so these families of homicide, they're allowed to call in and listen to the hearing. It was awful. I'm glad COVIDs are over. Every time I go into a courtroom for a hearing, the first thing I think is, where's my safety go-to place? Is it under a bench? Is it under a table? Is it in the back?
You gotta have an escape plan, right?
Escape plan.
I hear you.
Sometimes when there's defendant family and victim family in the same room and the defendants are in there and emotions are high, it can be a little tense. We just want to make sure that everybody stays safe. We don't want to do this all. I go. However, let's go.
Did they take her home?
She's right across the hall with the defense attorney.
She can't come back in here. I don't want her back in here. I'm her mother.
You're her mother?
Yes. And she's talking loud, gonna try to make it a mistrial. I don't want her back in here.
You heard from the ME about how Mr. Reed was shot. And then right here, almost in his head was shot and low to the left.
The other thing I share with families in the beginning is that nothing will happen with the charges, a plea bargain, or a reduction in charges, or changes in charges without talking with families first. So ultimately it is the prosecuting attorney's office, the prosecutors decide if there's any plea bargain or changes in charges. However, it's very important to our office to get impact, thoughts, feelings, emotions from the victim family.
Can you give my mama Uber?
Is she doing okay?
She's doing her best.
I think that sometimes the little things are the big things.
Okay, we're looking for a Toyota Prius. BSM6195. Oh, that's him.
So if I can get someone an Uber ride, which is a little thing, it actually can kind of mean the world to them, because it just takes out one more stressful thing that they don't have to worry about.
It's been a long journey. I don't hate them, but I'm very upset. I forgive them because I'm a child of God, and that's the honest God truth. But my son, he got everlasting life with Jesus. They're gonna get life in hell.
There's some, travel agency kinds of tasks that I'll do. I worked with a family. Their son was killed in Queen Anne in 2017. And they had been to Seattle a couple of times to visit their son and stayed with him, and he just took them around town and they did all the sights. And so when they decided to come here for the trial, they didn't know where to go or where to stay or anything like that. And so I had a contract with a local hotel, a boutique hotel downtown, and they would give a flat rate of $99 a night. I offered that to this couple, and the trial happened in 2020. It was just not a safe time downtown Seattle. There was just a lot of things going on. And so I offered if they wanted to stay on Bainbridge Island, and I told them about it, and they said, yes, that'd be great. And so I found an Airbnb on Bainbridge and called and asked if they would honor the $99 a night rate. And they said yes. And so the family stayed on beautiful Bainbridge Island, which was nice because they'd come to court and sit there all day listening to all of the details of their son who was killed.
Good morning, Mr. Carroll. Is your correct name Leon Carroll II?
And then at the end of the day, they got on the ferry. The ferry was sort of a beginning of the day, end of the day buffer for them, and it turned out great. I think I have about 60 homicide cases. At one point, I had 300. And 300, just all kinds of cases, assault and robbery, and so I have my phone on all the time. I love my job. I feel like it is a privilege and an honor that these people that don't know me, who are experiencing one of the most traumatic times of their life, they let me in. They don't know me, and I just call them up and tell them things and listen to them, and it's a privilege.
You got you somewhere, huh?
Yes, sir.
You ready?
I'm ready.
We don't want to have to come back to the jury, and so when they read the verdict, you got to be quiet.
Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Michael William Behoff, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree as charged in count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant, Carl Emerson Pierce, guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree as charged in count 1.
You guys did a well done job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Yes, of course.
Right.
If you telling the judge how all the things you want to say,
Oh, you can't see it?
you can. You can write a letter and you can come and say it, or one or the other, or both.
I don't know what I was saying. I tried to say it from my heart last time, and I just broke down crying.
Well, just write a letter then if you can't sing, or have somebody read it for you.
Read it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'll read it for you.
Yeah.
I can read.
And especially thank you, my dear. Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Prior to her job with the prosecutor's office, Attrill worked as a victim's advocate for the Seattle Police Department from 2014 to 2021. But when the Seattle City Council set out to defund the police in the fall of 2020, victims advocates were transferred from SPD to the Department of Human Services. Sources tell the Spotlight families of victims no longer get the same service. One local family is grappling with the pain of losing two brothers. One is missing, the other is dead. It's a murder mystery that's filled with twists and characters. Arkan Al-Aboudy, who everybody called AJ, was found shot to death on St. Patrick's Day in Seattle, right in front of a notorious homeless camp on 10th Avenue between Dearborn and Jackson. Arkan's family says he was out looking for his brother Mike, who had taken a bus to Seattle on March 1st, but then disappeared. Well, now, Arkan's sister is pleading with the public for help.
I don't know what happened. I don't know who did it. I don't know why. We don't know yet. We're just waiting. Really kind and a loving person. He's a sweetheart. Everybody loves him. He doesn't hurt anyone. He helps the homeless too when he sees them outside. He does. He had a big funeral. About 300, 400 people came. It was beautiful. All his family and friends, even people they don't know him, they show up on his funeral too. We just miss him a lot, and it's hard for me. It's really hard. It seems like he's gone, and he's not coming back. When he heard about his brother that he's sick, that's when he went crazy, and he wants to get him. But he couldn't find him, and we're still not finding him yet. That's why he was looking for Mike, and when he was at the wrong spot, at the wrong time. Somebody called 911, and then they came, but they didn't find nothing on him. No ID, no keys, even his phone. They took his stuff, and then I called after that on his phone. It was ringing, but nobody picked up. And then I called again, and it was ringing too, but no answer. But after, on the 19th, somebody signed in on WhatsApp app where you call for free. They logged in on the 19th. Just, if they can help us, please find him. Find who did it. Mike too. We hope he comes back home safe with his family too. It's really hard to lose a brother, and now we're looking for another missing brother. It breaks my heart. So we just need help. If anyone saw anything, heard anything, please come forward.
That camp at 10th and Dearborn, where Arkan was murdered, has since been cleared out, but we found plenty of people nearby to talk to. Hey, how's it going? Can we show you a flyer? We're from the Spotlight on Fox. We're doing a story trying to solve a murder.
It looks vaguely familiar, kind of, sort of. I don't know. I just got out of hospital.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Oh, I hurt myself.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I hurt myself pretty good.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Almost problems.
Yeah.
There's an encampment over here that was broken up a while back, and last month, this guy was shot and killed over here. We're offering a $3,000 reward for any information that leads to the arrest of the charge of the guy who killed this guy.
Wow. Yeah, I have no idea.
And we're trying to solve this murder. Do you mind if we talk to you for just a second? It happened right over here.
Yeah, AJ.
Yeah, do you know AJ?
He used to live over by the storage.
Oh, do you mind taking this and putting that out for us? Because
what happened to this guy?
He got murdered. So he got murdered here on March 27th, and he was out. We heard he was out looking for his brother, and somebody shot him one time. They didn't find his phone or his wallet right over here, up the street here at 10th and Dearborn.
Yeah.
And
wow.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to break this news to you.
Hey, thank you. I will. Send
Any idea who might have wanted to hurt him?
Well, he got a lot of enemies, I know that.
Oh, this guy does?
Yeah, he got sticky fingers.
Oh, so that's a side of the story we hadn't heard about.
That's the only reason why he got kicked out of the place over by the storage.
Okay. So do you think he was staying over here?
Yeah, by the storage.
Yeah.
Goodwill and storage.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah. So we had heard he was living with his girlfriend, but you said he was homeless at some point?
I never seen him with any girl.
Okay. So had he been out there for a bit then?
I'd say about 3 months or so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you recognized him right away, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So that is a whole different side of it. So he's got a brother named Mike that he supposedly was looking for also.
That I have no idea.
No idea about that?
No, sir.
Yeah. Well, there's a $3,000 reward, so if you know if anybody knows, it's anonymous. Oh, you don't live around here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live in I'm okay.
Oh, okay. All right, got it. But you've been through here before?
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
I got friends out here.
All right. Well, if you'll take that and just share the word, we really appreciate it.
Yep, I will.
All right. Nice to talk to you.
Nice talking
All right.
to you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
You guys have a nice day.
He seemed to know, right? But you haven't gotten any tips on this, so you haven't gotten any tips so far on this, right?
No.
There's a place down here around. Do you want to show this guy this flyer? Let's see. How's it going? All right. We're trying to solve this murder, and we want to see if you'd ever seen this guy, because we're doing a $3,000 reward.
We got a reward for him for $3,000 if for information that leads to the arrest of the guy that murdered him.
Murdered him?
Yeah, murdered him.
Okay.
You ever seen that guy before?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
All right. How's it going today? Good. I'm David Rose. Hey, nice to meet you, Adam. Did you ever know AJ? Was he ever around here?
I've heard of him.
Oh, okay.
I know of him, but I never knew him directly. I know more than a few people that knew him very well. I've heard a lot of people saying that they were really regretful, sad that had happened. But majority, no, I didn't have direct contact with him.
Yeah.
It's tragic what happened, though.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out, because his family said he wasn't living out here, but then we've heard some people say he was living out here. And do you know what the truth is?
During that time, I was living in an apartment complex that was nearby to where that happened, and apparently he was living outside, reportedly near the courthouse somewhere.
Yeah. So he just wasn't out here at the time, but he did know a lot of people out here and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got it. Yeah. Do you worry about your own safety knowing there's somebody out here going around?
Sir, this morning I woke up and literally 2 feet from my head somebody got stabbed and someone took an AK-47 to the air 4 times. I mean, I'm terrified. I've honestly been out here 2 weeks because I've been a victim of a TV incident and I've just been trying to find housing and get swept into one of these sweeps just to get the opportunity because all the resources are all full. So, I mean, I'm definitely terrified of it, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like one of those victim of circumstance situations.
Yeah. That was just today.
That was just today.
Yeah.
Don't ask me about my month.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. No,
yeah. People, I think, have a misinterpretation that you guys want to be out here, and that's not true.
Yeah, I would like to express that there aren't the homeless. There are people experiencing homelessness. 2 weeks ago, I got shot in the leg on Tulsa Jackson just for walking by, and I spent 4 hours in Harborview getting things like.
You got shot in the leg?
Yeah, I went through my leg into the other, and there was shrapnel. And they spent 4 hours at Harborview picking it out. I had to wait. There was like the last couple of weeks just to get it all to push out of my skin, but. I mean, there's been a myriad of things.
You're just walking?
Yeah, just literally walking at 12th and Jackson before it all got broken up, and they put the mobile police unit in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wow. So what's your plan then? What's your hope?
Well, I spoke to a police officer who was responding to my TV case, and I'm hoping that maybe I will get into one of these shelters or some sort of situation where I can get long-term help with that. It was just kind of a spur-of-the-moment thing. My mom just passed away, so I wasn't really working at the time. So I'm just trying to get back on my feet, and I'm one of the better use cases, whereas everyone else around here has a lot more trouble with that.
You're a victim of domestic violence?
Yeah.
Is that what happened to your ear?
Yeah, actually, I was hit in the head with a can of SpaghettiOs. It broke a small bone in my ear, and I was leaking CSF fluid. But there's now a felony assault case and no contact order, so I'm not even allowed in my own apartment. So, yeah, I just had to. I don't know family left. My mom dying was my last person I know. So.
That doesn't seem right that the victim of the domestic violence should be the one that's out standing in a tent.
Victim of circumstance, I'm telling you. I have some special way of falling through the cracks. But yeah, Joe, it's pretty messed up that I would be the protected party and asked to leave my home. But
yeah. I'm really sorry, man.
Thanks,
really
man. It's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us. I appreciate it. Yeah. And if you do hear anything on the homicide, let us know. Those interviews raised new questions for us about what Arkan was doing before he was killed. So I circled back with his sister. She insists he wasn't living on the street and that he was in those camps often looking for his brother, who is still missing tonight. And that's why people may have thought Arkan was homeless. Either way, it doesn't matter. A killer is still on the loose tonight. And as for that story about the AK-47, it's true. SPD says 2 people were in an argument. One stabbed the other. A friend of the person who got stabbed then grabbed an AK and started firing, and then stashed the rifle in their tent. Officers showed up, and the victim's girlfriend wouldn't let them enter the tent to get the rifle, even though they could see it laying right there. Officers got a warrant, and that's when police say she then bit one cop and scratched another, strong enough to draw blood on both of them. When EMTs showed up, the shooter reappeared and stole their medical kit. It's just another day in downtown Seattle, or as we've come to call it on the Spotlight, Gotham City. Before we leave you, a bit of perspective about managing stress and the importance of having a supportive team from Victim Advocate Tiffany Attrill.
I couldn't do this if I didn't have such awesome coworkers. They're fantastic.
My superhero shoes.
They're the best.
Oh my God, I can't believe them.
Where did you get them?
Macy's.
Get out of
Like
town.
pre-pandemic.
Well, I was wearing really cute shoes, and then I hurt my feet because I haven't worn them for 2 years, and then I had to put these nerdy things on. Don't film these nerdy shoes. Bye.
There's something called secondary trauma, where when you bear witness to the pain and suffering day in and day out, you have to have systems in place for your own self to be able to sustain the work. And so sometimes people will ask me that question, and I think that there's a couple things. We all have each other. The advocates, the prosecutors, the detectives, the families. Like, we get it, you know? And so you kind of have to have a thick skin, and also we just support each other and know that this is hard sometimes. The other thing I would say is you have to have a sense of humor. I mean, you have to. You have to find some things that are funny, whether it, you know, be baby goats fainting or whatever. You have to have something that you can find humor in.
That's all the time we have on this edition of The Spotlight. Until next time, be smart and stay safe.